It's one thing that you can't forget, and that's to pace yourself, especially when it comes to things that you love to do. So, your passions or your hobbies. If it's something that you love to do, you don't want to make the mistake of doing that thing too much for too much time. And it's understandable when you do things that you love, you want to do them so much because you like doing it. And there's exceptions. Of course, there's exceptions. There's some things that you can do all the time. There's some things that you can do literally every single day and still find enjoyable at the end of the day. But for a lot of people, it's not like that. And for the common person or for the average person, you might get burnt out doing that thing that you love to do so much because you're just doing it too much. And that's kind of how life is with things like work, for example. Yeah, when you get a new job, you might find it exciting. You might be a little anxious, a little nervous, but overall, you're more excited to start to do something new. And then you realize that once you do it once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times a week, for months, years at a time, then it starts to get to the point where you don't find it enjoyable no more. And every time you do it, you start to get tired and sick of it. And it just makes sense. You're pushing yourself a lot to do it. And for other people, it might be something of a necessity, right? You need to work because you have bills to pay. You have things that need to get paid off. You have clothes to put on yourself or other people, food to put on the table, roof over your head, yeah, all that. And so that's why it makes sense. You do it because you have to. But when it comes to your things like passions, things that you love to do, you got to be careful in making the mistake of doing it too much, because then it starts to become unenjoyable, which means that you no longer like to do it so much. And so you got to remember to always set the pace for yourself. I know that life is something that's always constantly moving fast, but you are the one that sets the pace for yourself. And so that's why you have to understand the benefits in moderation. And I've talked about this before in the past in other videos, but I feel like it's not talked about enough sometimes, especially when you have things that you want to do in life that ultimately line up to things that you love to do. You want to turn those things into some sort of lifestyle for yourself. You want to turn it into something that you can create a life around. And so it makes sense that you want to do it a lot because you love to do it. But then if you do it too much, you start to fall off. And then that's where certain distractions start to come in. Once you drop that one thing that you like to do, then you start to distract yourself with other things that might not be as beneficial as you think, because you have the feeling to fill this void because that thing that you love to do so much is no longer fulfilling you. So you start to distract yourself with other things. It doesn't matter exactly what it is. If it's not beneficial to you, you should completely just block it out and find a way to intrigue yourself into the passions that you love to do before. So that way you can start implementing new ways for you to enjoy your passions again. Because it was a passion at first, and that makes sense. It was a passion for a reason. It was a passion because it was something that you enjoyed to do whenever you did it. And if you're doing it too much, then it starts to become unenjoyable, and that just makes sense. And that's okay. But if you want to do it, if you want to pick it back up again, and you don't want to feel miserable when you're doing it, all you got to do is just make sure that you're allocating time wisely. You want to make sure that you're spreading your time out wisely. Because the one thing that you cannot do in this life ever is buy back your time. But you can moderate and you can delegate your time properly in order for you to get more enjoyment and more fulfillment out of the things that you love to do. And of course, this comes with the experience, and over time you'll be able to figure out a way to implement these passions that you used to have back into your life. If it's something that you really find that you want to do, or if it's something that you find that you feel like you need to do in order to keep yourself sane or feel happier in life, you'll find a way, because there's always going to be a way. You just got to make sure that you actually want to do this thing that you love to do, and you got to make sure that you use your time wisely, right? And that you are smart about the things that you do when you do these things, right? You don't want to turn it into a thing that becomes like work, because then you won't find it enjoyable anymore. It just makes sense. So be able to allocate your time wisely, okay? Be able to use your time wisely. Find that passion, find that devotion, find that burn, that flame that you used to have for these things. If you want to incorporate it within your life, if it's that important to you. Everything I just said is simple, not easy. Love y'all, man. Peace, yo.